Your cat is not a quiet animal. Not with you. They follow you from room to room, narrating everything. They meow when you open the fridge, when you sit down, when you look at them for too long. And yet, the moment someone else walks in, silence. The same cat who hasn't stopped talking all morning suddenly has nothing to say. That's not shyness. That's something far more specific. And understanding it will change the way you hear every sound your cat makes. But first, there's something about the meow itself that most people never find out. And once you know it, nothing will sound the same again. Here's the thing that stops most people when they first hear it. Adult cats, cats living in the wild, cats interacting with other cats, almost never meow at each other. Kittens meow at their mothers. That's where it starts. That high, urgent sound that says, "I'm here, I need something, come." And then they grow up, and the meowing stops. Between adult cats, communication happens through scent, through body language, through the slow blink and the tail position and the angle of the ears. The voice goes quiet. It isn't needed anymore. Except something happened when cats started living with humans. Something extraordinary and almost accidental. They figured out that the meow worked on us, that we responded to it, that it got our attention in a way that scent marking and tail signals never could. And so, over thousands of years of living alongside people, cats developed something that exists almost nowhere else in the animal kingdom, a sound made specifically for one species that isn't their own, a voice invented for you. When your cat meows at you, they're not using a generic animal sound. They're using a communication tool that their ancestors developed through trial and error across thousands of generations, specifically because humans responded to it. Your cat is speaking a language that was built from the ground up for the purpose of reaching you. So why does that voice disappear the moment someone else enters the room? If meowing is a tool your cat uses to communicate, why reserve it so specifically for you? Because it was never about communication in general, it was always about you specifically. Your cat's meow with you has been calibrated over the entire length of your relationship. They've learned, through thousands of interactions, exactly which sounds get which responses from you. The short chirp that makes you look up from your phone, the rising meow that gets you to follow them, the low, insistent sound that means they've been waiting long enough and you need to move. This calibration takes time, it takes attention, it takes a relationship, and it only exists between your cat and the people they've built that relationship with. When a stranger walks in, your cat has no calibrated vocabulary for them, no learned history of what works, and so, silence. Not because they have nothing to say, because they have no language for that person yet. The silence isn't shyness, it's the absence of a shared history. And the talking, the constant, specific, personalized talking they do with you is what that history sounds like out loud. Once you understand that your cat's voice was built for you specifically, you start hearing it differently. And here's what most owners discover when they start paying attention. The sounds are not random. They never were. The short, rising chirp, the one that sounds almost like a question, is a greeting. It's what your cat says when they notice you've entered a space they're already in. It means, "I see you. You're here. Good." It's the verbal equivalent of the slow blink, an acknowledgement of your presence that carries warmth without demand. The long, insistent meow, the one that doesn't stop until something happens, is a directive. Your cat has decided something needs to occur, and they've decided you're the one who needs to make it happen. This sound is the most purposeful in their vocabulary. It has a goal. It will continue until that goal is met. The soft, almost silent meow, the one so quiet you almost miss it, is intimacy. It's the sound cats make when they're completely at ease, when there's nothing urgent, when they simply want to acknowledge that you're there and they're glad about it. If your cat makes this sound at you, you're seeing them at their most relaxed, their most trusting, their most themselves. And then there's the trill, that rolling bird-like sound that seems to come from somewhere deeper than a regular meow. Cats trill at the things and people they feel genuine affection for. Mothers trill at kittens. Bonded cats trill at each other. When your cat trills at you, they're not asking for anything. They're not directing anything. They're just expressing something. Something warm and specific and real that doesn't have a word in our language, but sounds, when you hear it, exactly like what it is. Here's the part that most people don't consider. The conversation goes both ways. Your cat isn't just talking at you. They're listening to you, carefully, specifically, with a level of attention that most people never realize their cat is paying. Research from the University of Paris found that cats can distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's voice with remarkable accuracy, but only when the owner uses a specific tone. That soft, slightly higher-pitched voice most people feel vaguely embarrassed about. The one that comes out automatically when you're talking to your cat like they're a small person who understands everything. When you use that voice, your cat's ears orient toward you. Their pupils soften. Their body language shifts, subtly but measurably, toward ease. Because that voice, over years of association, has come to mean something specific to them. It means, this is my person. This is the voice that has always been safe. This is the sound that comes before comfort, before food, before every good thing that has ever happened to me. You develop that voice for them without realizing it. They learn to listen for it without being taught. And somewhere in that unconscious exchange, you speaking softer, them listening closer, a dialect emerged that belongs only to the two of you. This is the thing most owners only realize when someone points it out, and once they see it, they can't unsee it. You've been having a conversation with your cat for years, a real one, not metaphorically, an actual back-and-forth exchange of sounds and responses that has its own grammar, its own vocabulary, its own rhythms. You say something, they respond. They say something, you respond. And over time, without either of you planning it, a language developed between you that exists nowhere else in the world. Nobody taught your cat to meow in that specific way when you come home. Nobody taught you to make that specific sound back. It evolved organically through repetition and response and the slow accumulation of a relationship that was paying attention to itself even when neither of you was. Think about the sounds your cat makes that you've never heard them make with anyone else. The specific trill they reserve for mornings, the particular meow that only happens when you've been gone longer than usual, the sound, you know the one, that you've never been able to describe to anyone but would recognize anywhere. Those sounds are yours. They were made for you. They evolved because of you, and they will never exist again in exactly that form, with exactly that meaning, after the two of you are no longer together. That's not a small thing. A language built for one person by a creature who started with nothing but instinct and ended up with something as specific and irreplaceable as a voice that only you get to hear. The next time your cat follows you from room to room, narrating your morning in sounds that mean nothing to anyone else, listen. Really listen, not for what they want, for what they're saying. Because what they're saying is this: I built a language for you, out of instinct and time and 1,000 small moments of paying attention to who you are. I made sounds that work on you specifically because you were worth the effort of figuring out, and I use them only with you because you're the only one who earned them. That's not noise, that's devotion, one sound at a time.